Supreme Leader Snoke's got a whole new look, and we're breaking down what it means for The Last Jedi on today's Nerdist News. Star Wars villains have never been known for their keen sense of style. I mean, let's face it, guys. Up until now, their biggest impact on the world of fashion was making breathing masks trendy. But the dark side is poised to throw some serious shade on all their haters this December when The Last Jedi hits theaters, because not only will Supreme Leader Snoke be getting ready to rule the galaxy, he'll be getting ready to wow it too with an all-new outfit upgrade. And guess what? Making Star Wars gave us a first peek at Snoke's expanded wardrobe, and girl, all we can say is that the Force is with him. In this concept art from The Force Awakens, you'll see that Snoke has ditched those boring black Sith robes in favor of something a bit more flashy.
I love gold!
I guess these new Star Wars movies take place after Return of the Jedi, but before Labor Day, cause Snoke ain't fooling around with those white fabrics. Anyways, although this is just unused concept art from Episode 7, Making Star Wars claims that this is pretty close to what we will actually see him wearing in Episode 8. According to the article, in The Last Jedi, Snoke will wear a silky gold robe embroidered with an ornate gold pattern and matching pointy gold slippers, kind of like what you'd expect to see on a genie or a court jester. They also mentioned that the robe and slippers will also be lined with red, giving him what they described as a very blood and gold look. But Snoke's new look doesn't end there. Supposedly, the magic makers at ILM have whipped up a pair of decrepit puppet hands for the Supreme Leader, which is super cool because it implies not only will we see Snoke in person this time, but he'll also be, at least partially, practical. But perhaps even more interesting is what he'll be wearing on those puppet hands. According to Making Star Wars, his puppety pinky finger will be rocking some brand new bad boy bling, a ring with a giant black gem on it that they're theorizing could be a kyber crystal. Okay, so while we're definitely happy to hear that Snoke is treating himself and living his best life, the question is, does this tell us anything more about him and the First Order? Well, for one thing, it definitely draws a big line of distinction between them and their Sith predecessors. Palpatine and company never seemed too obsessed with material possessions or looking good. Sure, he donned some regal-looking robes when he first took over the Republic, but by the time he was full-on Emperor and no one could tell him what to wear, he slipped right into that comfy Sith snuggie. Snoke, on the other hand, seems to be obsessed with material possessions. He's a guy who wants to let his clothes do the talking for him, and sure, his face might be a mess, but his clothes and accessories are on point! And that interest in the material may give us our best insight yet into who Snoke really is and how he came to power. In the Star Wars Aftermath novels, the books that connect the OG trilogy to the new one, we find out about a sect called the Acolytes of the Beyond. Now, they're a group of dark-side fanatics who, after the fall of the Empire, started scouring the galaxy for whatever Sith artifacts they could find. They were kind of like the ultimate dark-side fanboys, using their money, power, and influence to buy up all the dark-side memorabilia. So of course it would make sense that the head acolyte would be a guy with so much money and so much power that he could afford all the coolest stuff. Stuff like black kyber crystal rings and ornate golden robes. Maybe even super hard to find stuff like, oh, I don't know, an original slightly singed Vader mask, a mask that he would eventually gift onto his new apprentice. Or how about a black kyber crystal that used to belong to a certain animated black lightsaber? So maybe Snoke isn't some ancient evil entity like we all thought. Maybe he's just a really rich, dark-side-obsessed fanboy using his fortune to roleplay his favorite empire. It would do a lot to explain why the First Order seems so much like the Empire 2.0, right down to the look of their ships and the uniforms on their officers. Snoke is just a rich kid nostalgic for the Star Wars universe he grew up in, and he'll do anything to bring it back to the way things were. But hey, at the end of the day, who can blame him? He's probably old enough to remember what things were like during the prequels, and no one wants to go back to those dark days. But what do you guys think? Is Snoke really an acolyte of the Beyond, or does he just like to dress nice for fancy occasions? And what dark side artifact would you go looking for if you had all the money in the galaxy?
Gold!
Let's discuss. Did you catch the latest episode of Millennial Falcon? It's woke AF for all of you who like to keep it 100. Seriously, it's the best one yet, and I'm not just saying that because I get paid to say it. I mean, kind of. Technically, I'm getting paid to say that, but I do really like it. Right? Right? Yeah. Sure.